All right. I think everything should be according to plan now. Yep, it looks like I'm live. Okay, awesome. It's been a while since I've done this, so I didn't remember some of the steps I needed to take. 1 second, let me reframe the chat correctly here so I can look at what you guys are saying. All right. Okay, how's everybody doing today? As you can see, we are in the wonderful world of Blender right now. And this is my slightly different, but still WeMonkey 2 stream layout that I'm gonna maybe use for Blender. I'm hoping that the interface is big enough for you guys to see what's actually going on in Blender. How's it been? It's been good, Ben. Nice to see you. Hello, Corvzel. Nice to see you as well. Hi. Yeah, so I don't really have any plans for today. The main purpose for this stream, Apple, hey, how's it going? Damon Apple. Yeah, I don't really have any plans for today. I just kind of wanted to, stream Blender for a little bit just to show that, like, I can make it work and that it might, like, that A, it's going to be entertaining and that I can do it, and B, that my computer doesn't explode. I don't know. My computer is weird sometimes. Yeah. So I just wanted to do this little thing to make sure that it works. The main thing about my setup, though, is that you'll probably see this in just a second. I have a big music playlist of like pretty much every game I've ever played up here. You can see it at the top of the screen. And the other thing is that I have to control Blender in full screen mode, which means I can't see my streaming interface when I'm actually working. So I have like my laptop off to the right that lets me see your guys' messages. The only real quirk with my setup right now is you might notice that little like black like zoom in zoom out effect that happens sometimes, like this. Boop. That happens whenever I have to like go back to my streaming interface or if I want to change the music. You'll see that happen. But other than that, I think this works. I can move this around. Blender just crashed on me. Okay, take two. Let's go. The other thing I was gonna say is that my PNG tuber actually takes up a lot more space than I thought it was. So in a worst case scenario, I might I might just turn the PNG tuber off. Just so that I can stream Blender and have it look okay. Okay, take two, let's see. Let's put this back to Blender. Move this up here. This is why we do a test stream, so that we can figure this stuff out. It looks fine, but will it perform fine is the question, German Charizard. Okay, take two. Can I select the cube without it crashing? No. Okay, so in that case, I am going to turn off my PNG tuber, and I'm going to replace it with something that is still very cool, but slightly less cool. Behold, the switch out of the century. Bam! PNG tuber. without any animation. Now I'm just kind of staring at the screen, which means I can close this off now, and that should save me a little bit of space. Scary Wee, I don't know. I mean, he is kind of scary. He's just kind of staring at us. Okay, in this case, let's reopen Blender. I need to set up my thingamajiggers again. Bam. And then we move this off to full screen. Now can I select the cube without Blender crashing? Oh, I moved OBS into a thing instead. Hold on. Move Blender into a thinger. Okay, look! I can select the cube now! It's great! Okay. Blender is weird. Mac is weird, more like it. But I don't even know if this is a Mac issue. He's focused on Blender. Okay, so PNG tuber, we cannot blink. That is our solution. Cube would be proud of me. I don't know. We're about to delete the cube. Anyway, yeah. So again, I don't really have any plans for today. I'm just kind of, I figured I just wanted to test things out, make sure that things work. And I figured one of the best ways to do that would just be to like get a Pokemon and try to like set up a rig for it. Which Pokemon that is, I'm not quite sure. I was thinking Goomy, but now I'm not sure if I'm feeling Goomy, so I guess we'll see what that is. But let's get into Blender real quick. All right. Delete the cube. Delete the cube. Nope, I didn't delete the camera. Okay. There's a reason why you don't want to. Oh, hold on. Gotta move this over. There's a reason why it doesn't want to work whenever you're using the animated PNG. It's just that it takes up more space on my like computer hard drive than I thought. So that's a big part of the reason why. I'm gonna adjust my layout a little bit so I can see a bit more of you guys. Okay. Hello, Lewis. Welcome to the stream. We're just doing random Blender things today. I hope you guys also enjoyed the music in the background. I've been wanting to test out this music thing for a while. There's over 3,000 songs on this playlist, maybe even more, like 4,000. So now if you guys ever come across any music that you want to listen to on your own time, you should know where to find it. Okay, let's look at our Pokemon now, shall we? For those of you who don't know this, there's an add-on made by Chico Eevee that lets you import the raw Scarlet and Violet models into Blender with like all their shaders intact and everything. I plan on talking about that a bit more in detail, but this is basically how it works. So let's navigate to my Pokemon files. Who are we feeling? Who are we feeling on rigging today? You need to pull up like a Pokemon list. It's like, you know, we actually could do Cyclizar. It's actually not a bad idea. Because I do want to make something with Cyclizar at some point. Zoroark is also an option. I don't know, I'm kind of feeling Cyclizar though. You may also notice I have a Gen 10 folder. That is for anticipation. That's an anticipation for whenever we get the Gen 10 models. But for right now, I just have 1 through 9. Yeah, let's pull up Cyclizar for now, see how that looks. The add-on is pretty cool. Yeah, it is actually, like, amazing. Like, there's some caveats to it, some of which I actually just discovered today. But, yeah, it saves a lot of time. You can find it on GitHub if you just look up, like, Chico Eevee add-on. Or if you look at, like, Random Talking Bushes, like, forum on, like, the models resource forums, you should be able to find it. There's also a link in the Discord server. Where is Cyclizar? Right here. Okay. So yeah, this is just the raw Scarlet and Violet model. They even have a button for rotating the armature 90 degrees when you load it in. So that's amazing. Here's our little Cyclizar friend. I am actually going to save as real quick. I was working on Axew, so we're going to go back to Gen 9. I need to remember my naming convention for this, because I will probably be adding this to my asset library at some point. I don't see us getting the Gen 10 models until like November, since that's normally when Pokemon games releases. Yeah, we're not getting those for a while. I just wanted to have that like beforehand so that my file structure would have a bit more longevity to it. Okay, Scarlet and Violet. Now, if I remember correctly, I put in the numbers, so I do 967. I think it's then Cyclizar, if I can spell this correct. I'm very bad at spelling Pokemon names. And then I do SV. I think that's what the naming convention usually is, so I'll just leave it at there for now. Too fast if you ask me. Gen 10 should take more time. I'm not in any rush for Gen 10, but theoretically... Thanks for the Blender videos, you helped me learn Blender a little bit. Hey, Super Gamer, thanks. Sorry, there's a lot of messages going on right now. I've been missing a few. My apologies. I'm glad I've been able to help you. Did you say you wanted to do Goomy? I do want to do Goomy at some point, but like, I mean, I could still do Goomy. Like, there's no reason I couldn't do Goomy. It's just I was feeling a little bit different after a while. Like, Goomy is kind of really simple. It doesn't need an IK or an FK rig or anything. So, I don't know. I guess this could be like used a bit more as a demonstration. I just started to use the asset library. It looks super cool, like filling the Pokedex or whatever. I prepare Pokemon. I have this pipe dream of like getting an entire asset library of just all the Scarlet and Violet Pokemon models and just having them all on hand. That would be so crazy. Yeah. So, man. Yeah, I did say I was gonna do Gumi, but like, maybe I'll come back to Gumi in a little bit. Please load the eyes. Please load the eyes, Cyclizar. Please load the eyes. I don't want to have this white eye thing going on. Cyclizar, please. Oh boy, he still has white eyes. Interesting. And in that case, maybe I'll just start preparing the rig, and then I'll come back to that issue later. There is like a way to solve this. Maybe a bug, perhaps. Yeah, I only encountered this today where some of the models are loading in and their eyes are blank. I don't know if it's like a glitch in the add-on or something, but like, that's something I think I can figure out. Yeah. Okay, so I guess the first thing I could show off is I have this little code from Neo. I think I have this on the Discord server as well. It's a very handy tool that I also use for rigging. Nose are messed up a little bit. Strange how the export always has the improper eye import. I know, right? It's super weird. The evolutions have the same issue with the eyes? Really? Like I don't remember them having this issue, so maybe it's like a 4.5 thing, and I just haven't caught this yet. By the time a single person would fill the entire Pokedex into an asset library, the new games would come out, and then, yeah, that's kind of the thing. It would be like a moving goalpost. It would be like an endless loop. Yeah, so I'll come back to the eyes later. But here's a really cool thing with the code that Neo gave me. They do have the normal maps though, from what it looks like, so that's pretty good. I use 5.0, so I guess it is a 4.5 thing. Yep, I can't use 5.0 for a while because 5.0 stopped supporting Intel Max, which was interesting. Yeah, Zoro has the same issue. That's so weird. Like, am I just... That's so weird. There is a way to fix this, though. I don't know the exact steps we would need to fix it, but I know there is a way to fix it. You single-handedly got me in a new hobby when I was in a rut and dumped due to a pet loss. I rewatch your tutorials all the time because I'm still new and there's some of the best. Keep up the good work. Hey, thank you, Iron the Vape 1643. I appreciate it. And I'm glad, I'm sorry for the loss of your pet, but I'm glad that my tutorials have been able to help you. And I also apologize that it's taken me so long to do my animation tutorial. Things have been kind of, like, crazy lately for me, both, like, you know, with a bunch of life stuff. There's, like, university going on. I'm thinking about, like, my future in a lot of ways, so... It's been kind of crazy, but I appreciate your patience. And you're always free to reach out to me if you ever want any tips on anything. I guess to go to 4.4 instead, perhaps. Anyway, bone connection code. If you, with this code that Neo made, if you select all of your bones in edit mode and then you run the code, it connects all of the bones together. They are not separated anymore. The only issue is that, and I can't really see where this would be applicable here, is that sometimes the, I think I can close these down now, actually. Is that sometimes these bones kind of like it connects to a parent where it's like not supposed to be connected, so that sometimes is something you need to change manually, or it might just cause some like inconsistencies in the like the pull, like where's the pivot point for some bones, but it's a pretty efficient way of getting the thing done. Super cool. Hello, Dawn Civilizations, how's it going? Does this work with the rig I already made, an IK thing? I mean, if you have an IK rig, you probably should... I actually haven't tested that, German Charizard, but if you have an IK rig, it should... The bones should probably, or at least the leg bones should be connected already, because otherwise the ICO doesn't really work. Where in the Discord is the code? Check 3D assets. And if you can't find it, I'll link it to you later. Con Alpha Shiny Charmander. Hey, Charizard. Nice. Doing alright? You'll try? Alright. So here's the interesting thing about Cyclizar from what I'm seeing right now. Cyclizar is kind of weird for like making an IK rig because it's like its hands aren't like in a natural T pose. It's kind of like spread out into an A pose. So that's going to be an interesting challenge to figure out. And additionally, like Cyclizar has like different meshes for like different states. So I'm kind of curious about how I might handle that. But okay, what's the first step I would usually take for this? Do I want to go into renaming materials or... Give me a moment. I'm just thinking through my plans here. I mean, oh yeah, I probably want to rename these, so I'm gonna go to edit batch rename. Let's take this number here, 10057. I'm wondering if Cyclizar should be 10057 instead of 967. But anyway, that's something I'll worry about later. Let's take PM 10570000. Do that, select all, and then we're gonna replace this with Cyclizar. If I can remember how to spell Cyclizar. Let's see. I think that's how you spell Cyclizar. Okay. If not, I can fix it later. SV, case sensitive. I don't think that's necessary, but yeah. Bone groups maybe. Bone groups I usually do a little bit later. Once I have like the rigs and stuff set up, because that way like all the bones and stuff are set up in advance, and you don't need to flip around as much. Okay, so that seems to be, assuming that is how you spell Cyclizar. Let's do this for collections. This isn't really a necessary thing. This is just something I like to do in order to keep like my things consistent, and also just how I visually like to see things. Also, I'm having a huge deja vu moment right now. Holy smokes. Okay. So Cyclizar SV. I usually like to make this red. Let's go to materials. Body. So for this we could probably do, I think what I usually do is Cyclizar body matte. Alright. I want to do my final Blender project, however the roads that I use on LR and PMD day are gone, so I unfortunately lost the roads and grass from my final Blender. That's rough. Like, what caused them to disappear? Like, maybe check your autosaves or your recent projects to see if it's there. Pokemon Gens 1 through 9's zip. There is a, if you go to Random Talking Bushes, I'll link this later, but if you go to Random Talking Bushes, like the Pokemon model ripping project forum, there should be like a few links there. And one of them has like the raw files for all the Pokemon models. And it also has like an add-on that lets you import them into Blender easily. So you can check there. Otherwise, again, I can show it later on the Discord. But yes. You delete a project to get space back. Ah, okay, that's unfortunate. Okay, bones. So let's check the eye materials real quick. Let's do Cyclizar left eye matte. Should I be uppercase? Yeah, let's uppercase that. I don't know. I'm gonna try not to be super particular. That's my biggest Achilles heel, is I'm always super particular about everything. Yo, hey, hello Cake the Second. Welcome to the stream. Do you rig the face or just leave them as is with their eyelids rigged? The eyelid, like for the face, I kind of do like a I kind of do this thing, like, okay. Admittedly, I actually haven't figured out how like the eyelid bones like work by default. Like on a lot of Pokemon models, they're like super wonky in a lot of ways. So usually what I like to do is I'll like position the default eyelid bones like where they are, or like where I want them to be. So like for example, if I'm making a blink, I'll like take those like wonky bones, put them into a blink, and I'll save that as a shape key. and then I will attach, I will make a new bone, and then link that shape key to that bone so that when I move it, it causes the model to blink. We might get to that later, we'll see. But yes, let's check the bones here. I'm also going to go back into solid view just so Blender does not chug as much for the time being. Not be here for long, gotta go to a VR chat meeting soon. Lucky you being live is entertaining me. Yay! That's the purpose, that and education. But let's see here. So I got that. Is there any other materials I might be missing? Let's check the list. I don't really know what the Pokemon shader is, so I think that's fine for what we are now. Okay. Now for bones, I'm going to go back to batch rename real quick. I'm going to go to bones. And then for this, I'm just going to go to change case and make this capital case. Oh yeah, gotta be in edit mode. There we go. Batch rename, bones. Let's not do that. Let's just go to change case, title case. Okay. I don't know if you know this, but it might be cool fun fact. There's a toon shader matte cap inside Blender. It looks pretty cool. Maybe it's just a 5.0 thing though. I don't know. I've played around with toon shaders a bit in the past. I don't know if I'd be surprised if it was just like a 5.0 thing, but that is pretty cool. The shader itself is not important. It's more of a gain engine thing, so don't worry about it. I see. Let's see here. Now I gotta figure out what this is. Ideally, it's not that. Let's shrink this down a little. See, getting to the eye, like Cyclizar is really interesting because it's like not only like what's the right way to say this? Like, it's not only in an A pose, but it's like off axis. So yeah, normally it's like the feet are like parallel to the ground. So I'm not sure if I should like change the orientation or like the rest pose or like what I should do here. I am going to expand this waist bone though, if I can select it. Where's the waist bone? Or is it right here? Yep, there it is. Okay, increase that length. Rotate that up. Is that the waist bone? Oh, that's because of the code. That's right. In that case, I want to disconnect the waist bone first from the origin. So let's do that. Go to bone, go to relations. Or I want these to be disconnected from the waist. That's right. Origin is sideways. That's interesting. Hips is disconnected. Okay. Lazar. Asking again about the add-on code, but does it work if I already moved the bones closer to each other but not perfectly? I think what the code does is it just moves the, it just moves like the children, like it moves the tail of the bone to like, okay, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. Basically, it moves like the tip of the bones to like where their parent is and just connects them. So like wherever you, like it depends, like it should work maybe, you might have to try it yourself, but like it just basically moves the bones to like a certain location with their parents and connects them. Yeah. So it's not just like it doesn't have like set positions where it says like move here, move here, move here. That would be crazy. It's like a parent connection based code. That's why we have like some things like this here where like the hips are kind of like off to the side. Because like it's saying, oh, the parent's right here, so let's move the bone here, and you know that's a little wonky. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to disconnect this, and I'm going to move this back over here. I'll move this right here. Kind of wish Absol had an SV texture. Maybe someday it'll get a realistic texture. But that's where the skill of learning texturing comes in, which is unfortunately not something I'm super skilled in. But for For those who really want it, there's your motivation. Jaws right here. Spine 3 looks fine. Boop, boop, boop. So yeah, this is usually where I just check the bones, make sure that everything looks correctly. Or looks good. This looks like it's... Oh, there's 2 different versions of this? What? Huh. Why is that? Oh, wait. One of these is like the same, but there's just like a little lip there. Is that for like... That is so interesting. Is that just like if Cyclizar has like its neck up or something? Like that? Or is it just like, something I'm missing here? Either way, we can hide that for now, I think. Yeah, because this all controls that, but it doesn't really control the other thing. Unless that controls that. Okay. Oh, wait, no, that's just the giant wheel. So, okay, that controls the wheel. See, this is where bone groups are going to come in very handy when we get to that. More like an animation thing. Ah, that makes sense. Aura wasn't in Scarlet Violet, so it didn't get a new model. It is in ZA, though. So you will get one with rigged eyes, at least. That's the back one. That's that one. I think I'll just probably, like, turn the wheel thing off for now, because I think this controls, like, the... Yep, okay. They are separated, like, it looks a little weird, but they actually are separated, like, pretty well. Where they're, like, distinct from each other, aside from, like, maybe this spot, so... Yeah. I think this is doable. This is the seat. This one's turned sideways, so I'm probably gonna reposition some of these just so that they're more in line with the aspect that they're supposed to be controlling. So do that. This is the x-axis, so we'll just make this 0. Okay, do that. Boop, boop, boop. The seat here. Close friend, Zora friend is planning to get the model as well, then they plan to retexture. Let's go. This is the origin. It's so interesting that the origin is sideways. Is that because, like... Is that because Cyclizar is, like, mixed quadruped bipedal? Oh, that's gonna be so weird to rig. Oh, these are all like little empty bones, so I could probably delete those. PMD, PM. Okay, I think these are all just like bone names, so I think I can get rid of those. Hopefully I don't forget that. It's Fox in the Box. Welcome to the stream. I'm just doing random Blender things to test out my Blender stream today. This is the hips bone. Do I want the... Okay. Okay, so here, like the origin is still connected to like the origin point of the world. It's just, it's back here instead of like underneath Cyclizar like it normally is. That's so wonky. Okay. You need to know that he can stand on 2 and 4 legs. That's gonna be so interesting to rig. But I've never done anything like that before. I don't know if I'm gonna get through this whole rig today, but this is where we're going. You remember when importing there's an option to rotate 90 degrees, and you rotated it inside Blender 90 degrees again. That is true. Technically, it should be up like this. Yes, actually, you're actually completely right. That's why it's sideways. That was a good catch. That was a good catch. Okay. But yeah, like his feet are still like in the air. But that's something we'll worry about. Let's get these bones still completely oriented first. This is probably like a, yeah, that's a sub control. That's a toe control. I'd suggest to make the rest pose on 2 legs like I did. Okay, so you and Cube have experience rendering or like rigging Cyclizar, I would assume, right? The feet should touch the ground, the grass, and the ground. I see. Yeah, I'm wondering. It's interesting though, because like I'm not really sure like when the when I should make the new rest pose. If I make a new rest pose, I'm definitely going to save a backup though, just in case. Which version of Blender are you using? I'm using 4.52 right now. Because I cannot use Blender 5.0, but that is fine. Blender 4.5.2 is going to be our savior for today. I can turn this off again. This probably rotates, yeah, that, so let's turn that off for a second. I think that is that. Yeah, so let's move these out forward a little. Don't do that one yet. So you see, like, the bone code is helpful, but it doesn't, like, it's not like a one-size-fits-all solution. Like, you still need to do a little bit of messing around in order to get things workable. The main important thing when you're moving bones around, though, is that, like, you don't move the like where the head is, which is like where the base of the bone is, because that decides the pivot point. So is it worth making an XY rig if the Pokemon has a Scarlet and Violet model? That depends on what you want. Because I would say that if you're getting started, like the X and Y models are still really good, because like they have much easier like facial animations that let you still like express stuff. And you don't have to go into the whole like face rigging thing. So I think they still have use. Also because they're toon shaded. Because they're toon shaded, like the Scarlet and Violet models, just because they have more textures on them, that doesn't mean they're like an objective improvement. Because like if you want a toon shaded like a render, like the Sword and Shield models or like the Legends Arceus models are going to be much better. Next to your community render is very unsure. However, I did get my model, so I most likely would need to do. Oh, I see. All right. I think you can just delete one. Delete the one without the lip thingy. They're the same after all, and we'll make it cleaner and easier to work with. Delete the one without the lip thingy. I mean, I could. Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking about the wheel. I mean, I could, yeah. I just don't know. I don't usually like to delete things. I say after I delete those, like, empty bones earlier. But just in case that's important for later, I'm just hiding it for now. But I will probably come back to that at some point. That's the tongue. Okay. That's the upper eyelid. The face rigs we're gonna get into later, though, because that is actually crazy. Let's do that. Move this forward a little. Boo, boo, boo. This is just kind of like a visual thing. That's the tongue, yeah. Move that forward a little. Move that back. Sounds good. I just finished rigging Lucario's X and Y model, thinking about trying to... Dude, I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, fight animations. I'd love to see your attempt at a fight animation. I actually have been wanting to do something like that for a while. I just haven't really gotten around to it. It takes a lot of planning, and I can really respect people who do fight animations well. Hello, Dr. Wellwound. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are having a wonderful day today. It's already probably obvious, but Charizard's face is rigged with detail, and you have these other But Charizard's face is rigged with detail, and you have these other Pokemon. I mean, Charizard's face does have a lot of detail in it. I guess it just depends on the rig itself. Boop, boop, boop. Have you guys seen Koraidon? Since we're animating like Cyclizar, we're working with Cyclizar. Have you guys seen Koraidon and Miraidon's like rigs? Holy smokes! Like, they might be some of the most expressive Pokemon in the entire series. It's crazy. Like, I haven't gotten around to doing, Well, this eye rig looks pretty good, actually. I'm not sure if a shape key is gonna cut it, because it kind of needs to rotate down. I might need to make, like, a animation that's called upon with the driver, but... yeah. Is there any other bones here that I might want to play around with? Probably the fingers. I want to turn on X-axis mirror so I don't have to do this twice. They are pain. They are pain, but the pain comes with more expressive control. I know what I'm talking about, man. Doing a clip for Emerald Tower. I see. Yeah, some accessories on certain Pokemon are kind of really difficult to do. Oh, he has 4 fingers. Okay. Can I do this instead? Okay. This won't be super clean, like, in terms of, like, positioning, but I don't think it matters as much, just because we're moving the tail bones, the tail of the bones. The heads, again, are what matter, so, as long as we're doing that, it should be fine. This can come up. Doo-doo-doo. Maybe that moves down a little. I haven't played the game, so I guess they have a lot of close-ups. They do have close-ups, yes. Karada and Miraidon do have a lot of close-ups, so that would, again, explain, like, the detailed face rigs. Okay. That's probably good. Let's move down here, move these toes. X-axis mirror is still on. Doo-doo-doo. This is for the... Yeah, okay. This one only has 1, which is interesting. Oh, that's a sub-control. Okay. I will say Cyclizar does have a sub-control. Not all the Pokemon models I see have sub-controls on them. Charizard has them, where, like, if you want to move, like, certain parts of the skin, like, it lets you do that, like, right here. Doo-doo-doo. So that's pretty handy. Boo-boo-boo. Is that lined up enough? Doesn't need to be super precise. Is that the toe control? Yep, okay. This should be in the center. So we're going to disconnect this. Move this over here. Nope. Bad. Hide this for a second. Move that over here. Make sure this is centered. I do want to do a sword, however, in my mind. Here's a hole in the hinge. Perfect time for the time gear, but unfortunately I'm not a mauler. I did see that drawing in 3D. I didn't want to stick my nose in it too much, but volume snapping saves a lot of time. No, I appreciate the tips. Volume snapping. I'm trying to remember where I've heard that before. Could you refresh me about like volume snapping? Because like I can't remember up there. Oh yeah, snapping's here. Is there like a volume based? Oh yeah, right here. Okay. That's right, that's right. Boop, boop, boop. Next to the global icon. Yes. Thank you for reminding me about that. Very handy. That should be fine. So that is that. Was this disconnected before? Oh wait, hold on. Gotta go back real quick because I have to disconnect this one too. There we go. So now I should be able to control this. Okay. I had to go back real quick because otherwise that other parent would have also been... Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit weird. It's still a very handy tool to have though, for sure. So thank you for reminding me about it. I think that should be fine. Those are all parented to there. I again apologize if I apologize if I'm not catching up on everybody's messages. There's a lot of messages going on right now. It's kind of hard to keep up and do Blender things, but that's fine. I appreciate you guys watching me, and I hope I'm entertaining. Ooh, wow, that's actually really handy. Now that I'm seeing it, wow, okay. Holy smokes. No, might be talking about Luminous Arise a lot, but I'm being honest, it's such a good game to play that for some reason just can't stop playing it. I'm glad you're getting a lot of enjoyment about it. I suggest closing it and holding control. I suggest closing it and holding control while moving so you only get it when you want it. Yes. Do that. So now if I hold yeah. Oh, wait. Grab that, hold control. Yeah, there we go. Nice, thank you. You ever find a game that you can't stop talking about? Has it ever happened to you or anyone else in the chat? Yes. Fire Emblem 3 Houses. There we go. My annual mention of Fire Emblem 3 Houses in every stream. The streak continues. Dude, I was legit, like, looking at, like, thinking earlier today, like, man, like, I could do, like, an entire overanalyzing series on 3 Houses and all that stuff. Like, I cannot stop thinking about that game. So if you ever wanna get on my good side, you know what to talk about. Okay, that's good. That's good. Any Need for Speed game in Minecraft and Pokemon 2. Have you ever played Need for Speed 2 Hot Pursuit German? That's the one that I grew up with. I didn't play it like a whole ton, but I did grow up with it for a brief time. My cousins had it. So that is the one I'm most familiar with. Hello, Marco. Welcome to the stream. We're just doing casual Blender things, where I casually move bones around on a Cyclozar. There is point to this. There is purpose, eventually. It's just kind of, like, straightforward work right now. That's a sub-control. Okay, just making sure. That's also a sub-control. That's the foot. Not really a plan to want to get a PS2. Hey. Yeah, it was released in the PS2 era, so that's when you'd find it. Let's see. Okay, so I think a lot of the bones are where I want them to be now, except for maybe... Why is it tilted down like that? Interesting. Okay, I think a lot of the bones are where I want them to be. What do I usually do next? Next is usually, I think, when I would set up IKs. So I need to figure out how I'm going to do that. Maybe now would be a good time to set the rest pose. So, like, it's weird. I usually don't like to change the default setup more than I have to, because I figure that, like, the setups are what they are for a reason. Like, I found something recently when I was looking through the Pokemon animations in-game. This blew my mind. Basically, like, I've always been curious, like, for example, with the head control here, if you notice, like, the roll is, by default, isn't set up, like, on the axes, it's set up, like, diagonally, and I'm always like, why the heck is it set up like that? Like, that seems so weird and wrong. I found out when I was looking through the animations, they're set up like that so that they can get cleaner arcs, like, that go diagonally in the animation, only using the 3 axes. I know that probably sounds like gibberish right now, but basically, why don't you just separate the bones into different bone groups? That is something I plan on doing at some point, especially with, like, these different bones here. I just want to do that after I set up the IK, just so, like, you know, I can do it all at once. That's all. But, quick little... I think I want to show something real quick, because this blew my mind. So, or a quick little animation tutorial, maybe. So, a lot of a common question that you get with animation is, like, how do you create, like, a smooth animation? Let me see if I can... What's a bone I can use as an example here? Does this go, like, up and down by default? Or the seat? Yeah. So, let me pull out the dope sheet real quick. I'm gonna go to Action Editor. So, quick little mini animation tutorial. So, you need to go to bed. Have a good one. Good luck with Cyclozar. Give him pats. Will do, German. Thank you. I hope you have a great sleep. And that's amazing and comfortable. So here's a little trick. So when you're asking about like how you get smooth animations, and this will be in the animation tutorial whenever I get around to that. So like, you know, the basic premise of like animating. So like you set a pose for like a specific key. I'll just hide everything else for now. So like, for example, let's say you want to have the see you, Mirage. Hope you're having a great day too. Thank you for sticking around. So like, let's say you want to have like the seat animated. So like on frame 1, you like move the seat down here, and then you move forward, go over here, you set another keyframe, and then you go down here and you set this keyframe, you go forward, and then you set back to like, you take the original. I know that was quick, but this is just basically me setting like a quick animation. So you see how like you have this animation here that I made using this bone, and there's kind of like some stuttering moments in it, like particularly towards the top where it kind of stops for a second. Generally, how animation works, or how like how something works animation wise, and this goes for posing, this goes for anything. You animate on 3 axes. So Blender has like the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. Where can I get this to show up? Can I enable it? Yeah, right here. So you must go, but tease an interesting stream. Thank you for sticking around, Don. I hope you have a great rest of your day. So you notice here you have an x-axis, a y-axis, and a z-axis. So like x is the red axis, y is the green axis, blue is the z-axis, and they all correspond to different things. Now you'll notice when you're rotating these numbers, the numbers up here in rotation always change. But you notice like if I only move down the x-axis, there's still some like things going on in the z-axis. So like, what does that mean? Well, that's because this little gimbal we're seeing here is actually just the global gimbal. If we set this to the gimbal mode, this now corresponds exactly with the rotation modes here, with like the rotation of the x, y, and z axes. So if we rotate x, you see how it's kind of diagonal. 1 second. I'm gonna zero out the roll just so it can be clean. Is that 0? Okay. If this, I think like it should be only in the x-axis, or is it local? Do I have to set it to local? Yeah, I have to set it to local, my bad. So if you set it to local, you'll notice that that only the x-axis moves up here now, and when I move the y, only the y moves, and when I move the z, only the z number moves. Blender stores each of these rotations differently. So that means they can also be keyframed separately. So basically that means you can set individual keyframes for X, Y, and Z, and where you get smooth arcs and smoother animations is when those axes aren't like parallel to one another. So like, for example, if we go to frame 1 here, let's say I want to have like a pose start here. Over here, we'll set a keyframe here, and then we'll go to frame 20, and then we'll move this up like this, and then we will move this over here like that. Are the axes the same here? Okay. So basically we do that. We kind of have this this back and forth motion like this. And you notice how like when it gets to the top there, it stops for a little bit. Like it stops and then it goes back to the original pose. The way we can change that is if we go to, I think, yeah, if we pull up our bone here, and go and click this arrow, you'll notice that like you'll have the different rotation and location axes separately from one another. So it's storing all those different numbers separately. So like if we offset maybe like the Y and the Z axes a little, and now we play it. You see how we get that like cleaner rotation? That cleaner rotation in the in the bone movement. That is because the if we pull out this number here, that is because these arcs are speeding up and slowing down at different times. These rotations are speeding up and slowing down at different times, rather than like all coming to a stop and all going at the exact same time. It means that there's always constant movement happening in this arc. I know that was a lot to explain. This probably sounds a lot like gibberish, but that is a key trick, is like just knowing that you can keyframe axes separately is incredibly helpful if you're thinking to animate something. Anyway, the whole reason I got off on this whole tangent is these being off axes, or what it was off, when it was off axes, is so that it can get that like smooth arc motion, like in a like more naturalistic way. Like it doesn't have to be like, the axes don't have to be like up and down. Like they could be what they are here. They could be like sideways. And the animations are built to make the bone rules are positioned in a way to make it easier on the animators who are making those animations. So like instead of just like messing around with like, again, it's really hard to visualize, but like instead of messing around with like all the little different numbers, they say like, okay, we know we want his head to move in this specific direction, so let's make the bone rule like this, so that like you know, when he's moving up and down, we can have that like movement back and forth be one axis, and his little head tilts that are like different between each movement, like in a different axis. It's great. When it starts to go down, it doesn't stop going right for a few frames and then starts going left. So yeah, when it starts going down, it doesn't stop going right for a few frames and then it starts going left. Yeah, basically, like, I think that's the basic idea. Yeah, like, there's always constant movement. That's just you don't want all three of the axes coming to a stop, like, at the same time. Because that's when you get, like, that kind of robotic movement. Because then you have, like, a few frames where it's, like, his head is just kind of standing still for a second. And, yeah, it's, like, too perfect. It's like his head's standing still for a few seconds, and then it, like, speeds up and slows down again. Like, that's how you fix this. Like, there's different ways to implement this. Like, you don't necessarily have to offset the axes. It's just like when you start animating in like a axes by axes basis, or you keep your axes in mind while you're animating, it like helps a lot. That's me all saying that I'm going to set the bone roll back to what it was before. We get or like set it to 0 just so we can have this. Sad music starts playing when I decide to do that, but yeah, I'm just setting this back to 0 just for... I just think it's a good default state to have things in. And then, like, you know, you can change the bone rules later if you have, like, a specific animation in mind. But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Do I want to set a new rest pose is the question. And if I do set a rest pose, do I want it to be bipedal or do I want it to be quadruped? If German was still here, I'd ask him. But it's also interesting because his like legs are a different length. I think I am going to save a new instance of this though. Just in case. Boop, boop, boop. Alright. Both quadruped and bipedal characters are tricky. Yeah. Like, there's probably a reason why you don't see too many of them. But, yeah, I'm hoping to, find a solution. Like, it would be really cool if there was, like, a bone or something that could, like, switch the rest poses between quadruped and bipedal. But, I don't know. It also doesn't... It's kind of tricky because, like, Cyclizar's legs are, like, bigger than his arms. So, like, if I rotate these down... Like, his arms are smaller than his legs. That's so weird, but, like, I guess it makes sense. That's kind of why he's, like, crouched down when you see him running. See, my fear is that if I set a new rest pose, it's going to... Because, like... Oh, yeah, I just remembered something else I can do in the meantime. My main fear is that if I set a new rest pose, it'll, like... I'll need to, like, bend the legs down, and then we'll have, like, this deformation here. And then, like, the default pose will be like this, and I feel like that could mess with the animations. Yeah, put the legs down leveled on the ground and make the arms T-pose. Happened to me once. I see. Yeah, I think that might be the solution. So let's move him back like this. Move him back to 0. I think, yeah, that might be the way to do it, is to have, like, maybe the... I don't know, that leg deformation is looking super weird. Make the arms T-pose. Maybe we put him quadruped like this. Yeah, oh, maybe like we could have him like this, and then we could like move the arms out like this, maybe. That's not a bad idea. Gonna be on forward, but then arms will be facing side. Yeah, that's where I think that's what you were talking about. Yeah, this could be a good idea. I don't think I've ever seen a T-pose like that, but that's certainly a way to handle it. I did just remember, though, that I need to convert these tries to quads, so I'm going to do that real quick. But what if you didn't? Good question. Do you know how to fix the audio sync bug? My friend was having a hard time getting the audio to sync with the animation. Make sure... there's a sync here, like a playback button. You can check there, and I think there's a sync to audio feature right here. Yeah, so if you look right here, go to playback above your timeline, go to sync, and then go to sync to audio. See if that fixes it. Because usually, like, the audio will play back like at the same rate regardless. But Blender by default tries to play every frame, so that means, like, you know, if Blender's playback starts to lag, it'll desync from your audio. Whereas this skips frames accordingly, in order to keep it synced with the audio. I think that's like the best trick to try first. Will there be a tutorial? I remember on Discord there was going to be a casual one, but I don't recall right. I do remember, like, sometimes I just kind of stream on Discord. Casually do things in the background and, you know, teach people specific things. So yeah, sometimes I stream casually on Discord. If you ever want me to, like, show you something, we can do that there. Roaring Moon does kind of have the same issue with the legs being not level. I just didn't change anything. That's ironically an option 2 properly. Honestly, it's probably the best option. The tricky thing is, though, is that, like, it just makes getting an IK rig so weird. Yeah, we're gonna also, yeah, I was gonna ask you if you help me with the whole Pokemon IRL thing. But I think we forgot. I do remember briefly discussing that. So yeah, if you want me to show you, like, some of the tips and tricks for that, I can. That would be cool. Not already told this before in Discord. The creators aren't just a video game company. Oh, really? Neat. I didn't realize they did that too. That's pretty cool. How much does this deform this, is the question. I don't like that either. I think what I'm going to try, preferably after the stream because I don't have the best long-term memory. I mean, if we did it on stream, like, you would have the stream archive, so you could theoretically, like, come back and watch it whenever you want to. But I can do it before or after the stream if you'd like. Though after the stream I might be a little blendered out, so we'll see. Let's see. Tries to quads first. Don't get distracted. Tries to quads. Yes, try to quads. This just helps make the shading a little bit better. Generally in 3D, you want to try to have things in quads if possible. I know games usually make models in quads. I don't actually know why that is. I don't know why game models usually default to having quads or tries in them if it's just like to save. Why not Alt J? Is Alt J the shortcut? Am I learning new shortcuts? Let's go. Let's go. I didn't know there was a shortcut for that. Ah! Let's go. That is amazing. See, I learned things too. It's great. That's good, that's good. Is the tail a separate thing? Yeah. You taught me that? Did I? I must have forgotten then. My bad. There's so many things to keep track of. Ah! I don't remember teaching that. So maybe I just forgot. Huh. Interesting. Let's see. Okay, so those are all in tries now, or quads. Or they're as quantified as they will be for the time being. Okay. Back to the million-dollar question. How we want to set up this IK rig. I kind of want to keep the default rest pose because I don't want to mess with the geometry. That just means this is going to be wonky as all heck. I recall it being in the first tutorial made on the new series with the Eevee. Did I say Alt J? I think I said tries to quads. Interesting. Yeah, I always make it a point in my tutorials to always, or at least try to express the shortcuts. That way I can actually, I think I might have now that you mention it. I try to express the shortcuts if possible. Or no. What I usually try to do is I'll try to show people in the menu where it is, and then if I do it again, I show the shortcut. So I probably did say Alt J. It's just been so long. That tutorial is almost 5 years old, if you can believe it now, which I can't believe. My goodness. Okay. I just realized this bone needs to also be disconnected. I know, right? Ah! This also needs to be centered, I just realized. So let's disconnect this. Boo boo boo. Hide this. Time flies. Eek! I know, right? I've been thinking a lot about time lately, I'm not gonna lie. I've been thinking about it in regards to animations as well. I think I need to figure out a way to streamline more of my process just so I get things done faster. Because I remember mentioning this in a random gaming live stream like a while back, but like on average it takes me like a year or so to like make an animation, like at my current rate. And since like people usually don't live past 100. I want to make sure I have more than 60 animations before I die. So I think I need to figure some things out. That's where a part of like my brainstorming stuff has been going on. I think the trick actually to working faster, based on like what I've been researching and thinking about, is to have like templates. You didn't mention Alt J in the tutorial, my bad. No, that's okay. I'm just glad you knew about Alt J, because now I know about it too again. So, that's great. And either way or not, if you thought that I taught it to you, then that's pretty flattering. You know, I might have at some point as well. You gotta remember, like, there's a bunch of stuff on Discord too. Okay. Do I try to create the world's wonkiest IK setup? Oh my gosh. Okay. See, it's gonna be so weird, because, like, that means, like, when it's on the ground, it's gonna be... You know, I could set up the IK bones so that, like, this is the A pose. But, like, the IK naturally moves them to a... like, where they would be on the ground. That could be an option. I don't think I've made an IK rig like that before, but it could be an option. Brainstorming time. Is there anything else I'm missing model-wise is the question. I don't think so. I can start setting up the IK. Okay. I at least want to get started on this at least. So let's test this out. Let's at least test this out. We don't have to stay with this, but we can test it out. So let's move this back here. I want to set this to individual origins. Alright. How about you create it from this base pose and then pose it into the asset. You create it from this base pose and pose it, then take the pose into the asset library so you have a non-default pose with the IK. That's an interesting plan. That could be a good idea. In that way, like, you know, I could theoretically even have like a quadruped or like a biped like base to start with. They have a non-default pose. Non-default pose. Yes. Let's just get this IK rig set up first and foremost. At least to the best of my ability, with it being as even as possible. I don't think it'll be as hard as we think it'll be. But I guess we shall see. The Iki Town theme, the nostalgia. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the music so far. I know we've been getting like a lot of big variety. Like that tends to be just how I work though. Is I'll either do one of two things. I'll either just play my playlist and have like all the different music play at like different times, which I think keeps things interesting because it's like sometimes it's a sad song, sometimes it's a happy song, and you know, stuff like that. Or I'll just find a song I really like and I'll listen to it on loop for like an hour and a half. We'll see if that ever comes up in a Blender stream. Because, like, theoretically, I would love to stream Blender on YouTube more just so I can, you know, get more stuff done. Like, I could even do, like, my monthly renders on a YouTube stream, potentially, if you guys would be interested. I want to set this bone roll back to a normal value. Or do I, actually? What's the roll set to this one? 63? Will this also be 63? Okay, hold on. Yeah, the tricky thing about them being diagonal like this is it makes it a little bit tricky to like even them up like perfectly. That's a cool idea. Maybe not every month. Maybe not every month, that could tire you out, but maybe like every other month or so. Potentially. I would like to try to stream Blender like once every like 2 or 3 weeks though, just to, again, keep myself accountable. And, you know, I figure some people could watch me and, like, learn some new things, so... Or I could learn new things, potentially. As this stream is taught, which is pretty cool. Okay, in that case, let's move this down here. Am I on, like, local access right now? Okay. Let's make this one twice as big. Increase the length. Boop, boop, boop. This one I don't think needs to be perfectly flat, and we can always adjust things if needed. But yeah. One of the things I always want to try and do, make an animation that looks like a skin in Luminous Arise. But I know I would have to go into the process of modeling and making the textures look exactly like they do in the game. Is the game at a point where like the assets are like ripped. Because like you could always like that's how I learned a lot of my stuff is I looked at ripped assets. We should add super chats to motivate streaming. I mean, okay. I could. I mean, I could. Realistically, though, it would be cool to see your process of creating. Okay, then there you go. That's my motivation. That's my motivation right now. Is I just want to share more stuff with you guys. Yeah, I've been thinking about. Okay. So, for those of you who've been around for a while, you know that I've turned monetization off on my channel just because, like, in the last, like, year and a half, I've kind of had this, like, thought of, like, you know, I want to empower people to create things, and you know, I don't want to, okay, this doesn't necessarily have to do with Super Chat, but, like, I don't like the idea of, like, locking knowledge behind a paywall, because I feel like a big part of the reason that a lot of us got into Blender is because, like, of how accessible it was, and while I'm sure, like, you know, I could teach some things and stuff like that, I just don't feel comfortable, like, taking people's money. I don't know. For Super Chat, though, like, okay, that was part one. Part two is Super Chats, like, that I've been going back and forth on, because, like that and, like, Patreon. It's like, should I open a Patreon or a Super Chat? Like, again, like, I guess it could be nice, but, like, I don't know. Not sure if I want to take people's money. I would much rather they, like, just, like, I don't know. It's weird. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. I got a message from Lupa. I think I saw them join the Discord server a little bit. I will check that out after the stream. Because the way my stream setup is right now makes it a little bit difficult to check Discord. Were we talking about ripped assets for Luminous Horizon? Yep. Just another maybe useful fun fact that we talked about, local global. If you double tap the access you want to use, you take it to local, I think. Yep, that's exactly what it does. I do that all the time when I'm, like, rotating, so, like, instead of using the gimbal, as a matter of fact, I usually have the gimbal off. I just press X twice. That's also why I put big importance on, like, the bone rolls, so I can easily do that, like, from any location in the viewport. I mean, it probably won't be too costly. The game uses Unity as an engine. I see. Unlike touchless effects, which uses Unreal Engine. Okay, so, IK, let's see. I should probably rename these bones before I forget. Let's go left arm, IK. Left hand roll. Left hand control. I always forget, like, the exact naming convention I use for, like, my IK bones. I know this one is usually IK, this one is usually rolled, this one changes, and this one I tend to get back and forth. I'd say try it, see how you like it. You're not forcefully taking people's money. I guess that's true. We'll see. We'll see. I'll think about it some more. Text-to-speech. Oh, you're speaking through text-to-speech right now? That's crazy. Wow. That's awesome, though. Let's see. I think I want this to be left arm IK control. That's what I think I want to call it. That is not how you spell control. So that's left hand control, or left hand IK control. Because, I didn't show this in the rigging tutorial because I think I figured this out afterwards. But something I also like to do, is I like to swap between... As a matter of fact, I don't... Could I show this now? I go leg, arm, IK, roll, to control, and then leg, arm, control. Ah, I see. They also said, what they also use another engine. It's called... Oh, they have their own engine? Then in that case, it might be a little bit tricky, but we shall see. I guess I could show this. Hold on. Let's take a little detour real quick. Let's go to Pokemon models, Gen 1, Charizard, Scarlet and Violet, Weezard. I think let's do this one. So this is what we're going for. Ideally. This is like a Charizard rig I made. So, for my Charizard rig, which is probably like the most advanced thing I've done so far, you should let people support you if they want to support you. I shall consider it again then. I'll keep it on a sticky note. I will do so. So this is like, I'd say like my most advanced rig. This is usually what I aim for. And this is ideally what we would get with like Cyclizar as well. So for this, like when I say I have like an IK FK toggle, so like for example here, I love the custom bone shapes. Hopefully we'll be adding those Cyclizars too. I'd like to do that. Yeah, like my goal with custom bone shapes is that like you shouldn't, yeah, like you can see right here, in front isn't on. So, because like if you have in front on, it just kind of becomes a mess. So usually my goal with bone shapes is to have like the shape outside the model, so you can just look at it and have it be a bit cleaner. So basically what I have here is, I think this is the control. Yeah, left arm IK switch. So I have my arms here IK rigged and FK rigged. So that means if I need to animate an FK, which is basically like the default that most bones like render in, I can just animate here. But if I need to have like Charizard like holding on to something or like pushing up against a wall, I set this to IK. So now I have the bone shapes changed. Like this. So like let's say like I'm pushing up against a wall. Now if I rotate the spine, the arm stays in place. And there's like this switch, this little bone here is connected to a driver, if I can find it. Or would it be on the yeah, there's like a bunch of drivers basically going around that that toggle the visibility of the bones at specific parts and like switch it from IK to FK. The feet are like that as well. And for Charizard, it's actually really applicable because when Charizard is flying, you ideally do not want to animate an IK. You want to animate an FK just because animating an FK lets you get like cleaner arcs because it gives you more control on like offset and things like that. Got distracted and got a game over. No! Sorry. Yeah, pretty handy stuff. So like for example, this is the legs in FK. Like this. And if I switch this is back in IK, so now it goes like this. I also have like a key here for like blinks. I have toggles for like the scarf and the necklace. I have a toggle if I want like a realistic flame or a toon shaded flame. That can be toggled. I have little bones here that control like the position of the eyes through drivers. This is a very spooky song. Oh boy. I have little bone shapes for this here. And bone rolls here. I think this controls like a grip. So yeah, if I wanted to just have the arm grip like as one control, I have this. And this I haven't entirely figured out yet, but I have my necklace completely like physics based. So like if I play it here, like the necklace actually like goes down and like moves along with the neck. So yeah. We need an add-on for snapping the FK and IK, or the other way around, so we could switch seamlessly in animation. It was called Global Transform. I think, something like that. Well, the way I think like an add-on for that would be nice, but I actually think switching between FK and IK isn't super difficult. like if you have the right bone for it. I have them hidden here, so it might not be easy to see, but basically like the IK constraint has like a 0 through 1 value bar, so like if you just set that to a driver, you can toggle that between 0 and 1 and 0, and it lets you do that. Wait, there actually is an add-on for that? Ooh, wait, hold on. In 5.0, they directly implemented inside Blender A. What do you, I'd like to ask, what do you think is better for use, Blender or SFM? I have not used SFM before. But based on my knowledge, experience, and I am not biased at all when I say this, I do think Blender probably offers more, like, and again, I don't know too much about SFM, but like I think Blender offers a bit more than what SFM offers. Just because I don't really see SFM being used too much like in the industry, and I don't really know what it specializes in. Where is Cyclizar? He's in Gen 9. I don't mean the toggling? Ah, okay. I see, I see. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, we're back to Cyclizar now. Need to add a snapping the FK IK. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Hold on. I think I get it now. It's called Global Transform, I think. I'm gonna need to look into that because I think I'm kind of having a little bit of a harder time picturing it, like based on text entirely. So I think like seeing how it works in practice will give me a better idea. Okay, those are renamed. These probably also need to be renamed. Boop boop boop. It's like when you toggle the SFM is outdated. It's mostly used for TF2 animations. Ah, okay. I do see SFM used for TF2 stuff all the time though. Also, hey Patafoin, how's it going? Nice to see you here. Ignore the like creepy music in the background right now. That's just what my playlist decided to play. But yeah, we're just going through like a casual rig right now of Cyclizar. I don't really have like a super solid plan in mind, so I'm just kind of going through like casually talking with people, answering questions. I hope your day is fantastic. It's like when you toggle the IK, snaps to the IK controller. So if you want to switch, oh yeah, that's right. Manually pose them to be exact opposite. Yeah, it makes it easier for its like its what's the word, like animation focus, because you don't have to set like a one frame key for your IK constraint. You can just set like press a button. It's usually for independent animators. It has a bit less than Blender, easier to animate. I can imagine it being easier to animate with SFM. Like again, I've never used it before, but I think like, you know, a lot of people who are just like getting into it, I can see where like the appeal might come from. I'm here since the beginning. I don't talk a lot since I'm working at the same time too. Hey, Blender gang. You can still download some, but it uses MLD files. I see. Okay, renaming these bones here. Left arm IK control. I'm gonna turn this to right. Like, I don't think we're going to rig all of Cyclizar today, but that would be crazy if we did. Oh, hold on. That is left hand IK control. No? Okay. Caps lock. I don't use cap lock. You have no proof. I tried it once and it was a really long time ago, probably. I honestly should try it someday. I just want to know, what it's like to use it. If I just made like a little skit with it or something, that could be cool. Just because, like, again, like, I want to know the experience, so that, like, if people are switching from, like, SFM to Blender, or they want to, like, do something along those lines, I can say, like, oh, Like this aspect in SFM is like this aspect in Blender. You know. Fun fact, as someone who has used both Blender and Maya before, and this is true in a lot of programs I've noticed, they always, like, certain programs have, like, different, like, have the same functions, but they'll call them different things. So, like, for example, on Mac, what you guys call the task manager, we call the activity monitor. And Blender and Maya have, like, those exact same things. The exact same thing. And the weirdest one is shape keys. Because shape keys in Blender are called blend shapes in Maya. Which is so wonky. Because, yeah, blend. I don't know. But, okay. Right arm, okay. They call it morph targets in our... Yeah, exactly. Like, they always... Like, I always wonder why that is. Like, maybe is it just, like, two different studios, like, working at the same thing at, like, a different time, and they just come up with, like, two different names for it? Or is it just, like, you know, like, we have to call it something different so that, like, you know, we don't get, like, copyright infringed or whatever? With some models in FSM have options to move certain parts, such as if you want to make the eyes on a model closed or open, or the jaw open or closed. Oh, I see. I see. It simplify the process. That for models with rigs like this, I could see why that would be easier. Okay. Okay. Base level IK. I know we're going super slow, but I want to make sure I read the chat, and I'm hoping this will help maybe make things easier to follow. So I think this is a good spot to put it in. Check this out. Hopefully it's not too wonky, because it is pretty high up on the... It is pretty high up on the... That's so weird. I'm not sure if I want it that high up. I imported the Sans model in the Blender from SSO. Those come as shape... Oh, that's awesome. That's actually really nice. Yeah, because this is like where the elbow is. I'm not sure if I want the IK rig to be that high up. But wait. No, I'm derping. Okay, hold on. I think this is fine. It's because that way, if we parent this to this, and I parent this to the origin, so it doesn't do a wonky thing. Where is the origin? Did I hide it? Yeah, I did. Okay. So we parent, so this gets parented to this. This gets parented to this. So this gets parented to the hand control. We'll do that. This also gets parented to the hand control. And then this gets parented to the origin. So now it shouldn't be wonky. Still a little wonky. Is that because I have the IK set to 1 or 2? It is set to 2, okay. What am I missing here? Did I like mess something up with the parenting? Oh, okay. Copy rotation. That's right. Let's try this now. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Awesome. It's still kind of So let's move this down just for a little bit, see how this works. That's still a little wonky. But we're getting there. This is progress. Move this up. Yeah, okay, so this would be like theoretically where it's on the ground. Yeah, so like this is where we want the IK bone to be. It's just having a little bit of weirdness here. Okay. You're linking not the forearm but the upper arm, like that on purpose? If so, you're IKing the forearm, but you're IKing not the forearm but the upper arm. Is that on purpose? If so, why? Is it just curious? I mean, I think this technically is like IKing like the forearm. Because you see, it's like... So I think this is... Wait, hold on. Now I'm second guessing myself. Hold on. Let me even this out real quick. Yeah, because like, see, this controls the like the arm is here, but this lets me control the forearm here. If I had moved this, like if I had moved this joint down here, I'd have a lot of space going on here, and I could theoretically have Cyclizar standing on his toes. Like, that is an option. But like, in terms of like bone rolls, I think this is like one of the better spots we can get in, because like this controls like the roll of the bone here. Because basically by parenting it like this, tilting this causes this bone to rotate around this spot, and the arm stays the same. Whereas like if I rotated here, like I'd have to, like it's doable. I've done it like for some rigs in the past, but like I could have like these Cyclizar like stand on his toes, so like I could have this like going down and like pivoting from there. But usually for this, I have it like that. Indeed. Like, it's technically more like a roll from the shoulder. But it just kind of, I don't know. That's just kind of how I've done it. It also depends on, like, the rig itself. Like, for Jolteon, like, the rings, I think the rig is, like, a bit further down. As a matter of fact, I could probably check the Jolteon rig. I could double check this. Hold on. Let's go to Gen 1. Yeah, I see the shoulder thing might come in useful. Indeed. This is actually a rig that Mr. DJ and I worked on. DJ made like the base rig, and then I helped, like, I edited a few things for him. So this is kind of something we both worked on. So like, for example, like in the back legs here, I think it's kind of just like rotating from the shoulder here, and here I actually don't think there is a roll control. Yeah. Interesting. So I guess that's just more of a back leg thing. We need something for the shoulder of Cyclizar. Hello, Shadow. Welcome to the stream. Have you ever done animation out of the Pokemon? Oh yeah, a bunch for college and a bunch of other stuff. On my own time, I think I also have as well, but I don't remember too much of it. Where is Cyclizar? Boop, boop, boop. I remember the dragon one, the apple one. That is probably one of my favorite animations. The Reykjavik episode didn't get a whole lot of attention relative to my other animations, but I still think that's like one of my favorite things I've ever made. Like the composites in that episode, I am so proud of. Especially like the one with the Ponyta. Like, holy smokes. I am very glad about how that turned out. So yeah, like this, I think, like, I don't know about like the default positions for these IKs because it's like, you know, doing some of this weird stuff right now. I don't know, actually. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that, actually, because I'm not sure if I want the arm to be up straight like that if I'm moving the IK. Kind of popped in here to figure out where to rip Scarlet and Violet models. Go to check out the Pokemon model ripping project. There's like a forum on the models resource. You should be like, at the very start of it, you should see a big post from Random Talking Bush. And on that you will see, there's like a bunch of links on there, but a few of those links are a link to every single, like, a folder of like every single Pokemon model. No, sorry, let me start over. On that forum, there should be a link that says like Chico's Eevee's like add-on, or like Pokemon model importing add-on. And on that link, you will see a GitHub page with a add-on to download, an add-on that will let you import like Scarlet and Violet models into Blender with all their shading. And you should also see another link that takes you to a downloads folder with like every Scarlet and Violet model and their raw files and textures. So that's where you would want to look. Probably do animation based on the dark sky falls down. That would be pretty cool. Do 3D model the main character. From Luca based on the artwork I made. Ah, okay, neat. Very, very cool. Yeah, so I actually don't know if I want this up here. In that case, that's going to be a little weird. But then how would I get that roll? Yeah, on the models resource forums, check the Pokemon model ripping project. There should be like just look up Pokemon model ripping project and it should come up. And it will you should see like a link there that takes you to a few of those things. I mean, how many bones are on this back leg, actually? 3. I mean, we wouldn't technically need a roll bone here, potentially. We could just go with, like, with a more basic IK setup and not have that weirdness. I'm gonna try this out. I had an idea for the, I had an idea for the blue render theme. It was a Suicune on a lake with water reflecting. That would have been so cool. But the toon water reflections are all messed up, so I kind of went with Mooring Moon. Ah, I see. That's a cool idea, though. Maybe it's something you could revisit at some point in the future. Because I'm sure that would be possible. I think there's ways to do it. Okay, in which case, I'm going to try something different this time. Let's try just removing this. This might not give us a roll bone, but it could be, we need one for this. So let's do that. This can just be parented to this again. That's already parented. That's already parented. Should the roll bone be parented to this? I can't remember. Let me try this out. Okay, so the roll bone won't work there. But now, yeah, now the arm is a little bit better. Because now, like, I can move it forward and it doesn't do that wonky thing. Let me just test this out again real quick with this back on there, just to make sure that this is. Yeah. I'm not sure I want the roll bone on this. It's good for flexibility, but I think, like, if you're animating an IK, it's just gonna take away. It's gonna be another thing you need to animate manually. So yeah. This is why I usually extrude a toe bone and parent all the fingers to it. Ah, okay. Extrude a toe bone and parent all the fingers to it. Indeed, indeed. Is that like an option? That's actually a cool idea. I think I'll probably keep the IK like this for the time being, though. So I don't need this roll bone. So I'll just set this as an IK. Set this to 3. Actually, hold on a second. So you get a roll bone. I usually extrude a toe. Oh, okay. You extrude a toe bone and parent all the fingers to it. Okay, so like you give yourself like another toe bone then. In which case, because yeah, theoretically I could extrude a toe bone here. Let me try that. Hold on. So if I parent this to this, let me parent all these fingers to this. We don't want that, so we'll connect this to origin. And we don't want this parented to the second toe bone, yeah. It's a bit cramped up there, but it gets the job done since I hide anything I wait. Oh yeah, a lot of bone setups are like really messy, like are really messy when they are viewed in their entirety. But as long as you like set things up in a way that's like visually appealing, it's usually good. Interesting, interesting. Ha 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 ha. This is something interesting I'm enjoying right now. Let's see this. We do need to make sure those toes don't rotate with the, and the arm to the leg. That's how I do it. Parent the toe to the arm, and the arm to the leg. Toe to the arm, arm to the leg. Gonna head out for a bit, probably come back a bit later. Hopefully the stream doesn't end when I come back. We'll see. Oh, toe to the feet. Okay. I'm having a bit of a harder time visualizing what you're saying, but we'll get something there. You basically keep the normal parenting chain. I see, I see. Hold on, I do kind of want to experiment with this though. So that does that. So let me parent these back to this. Okay. So this toe now rotates that. I mean, I could turn this off. I could turn off inherent rotation, but I'm not sure if I would like that. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what I want. I'm intrigued now though. Like I kind of want to get that toe roll. You can send me the file with it if you want to check it out. I'll check it out in a bit later. But I am kind of fascinated to see how you set this up. For the time being, I think I'll just keep this as this. And we'll go from there. Because this gets us a good part of the way, and the roll bone would just basically be if we want Cyclizar to like stand on its toes. So, and I don't think there's too many situations where that would be necessary. So I think, but I will be fascinated, and if that works, then maybe I'll share it in my next stream as well. It'd be great. Okay. Boop boop boop. You want to know the IK rigs that are the hardest to do? The ones with the feet that are just a foot. So like Pichu, Igglybuff, like the ones that are just like 1 foot and no leg, like those are the hardest. Those are the hardest ones. Cause then like the entire foot like rotates around. Like I don't know. I don't even remember how I usually try to set those up. I'll probably just delete this for now. You hate those too? Oh yeah, you have experience animating those. Yeah, those are the worst. I know there's a way to do it. Like, I think usually what I do for those is I take the back leg bone and like extrude it towards the origin of the character, and then from there I get something that like works slightly. But yeah, it's been a while since I've had to rig one of those. Thank goodness. Okay. Is that set to 2 or 3? It's set to 2. Okay, let's set that to 3. So we have a base IK rig here. Now question is, should I move on to the back legs now, or should I give these things pull targets first? Maybe I'll just focus on the front legs for now. I'm just actually gonna clear all this clutter. I don't think we need to see all this. Boop, boop, boop. I recall literally removing the leg of Wigglytuff, and then I made it bounce around. My gosh. Pull targets? Alright, pull targets. Yeah, the Wigglytuff has that too. Man. Like, it's doable. Like, if you check the walk cycles, like, they have some kind of trick that like, the devs used in order to get, like, the IK rig. But, like, man, I don't know, man. Those are really tricky. Okay, pull targets. Boop. I think I usually like these to be at the top of the K chain. So I think I'm gonna extrude from maybe right here. Boop. We will disconnect these. I cleared the roll. Let it be known that Command R is the shortcut for clearing rolls. We will clear the parent. I will set this back maybe to like this. Increase the size a little. Boop boop boop. Oh, that's right. I have this really interesting trick that helps with auto-orienting the pull targets, but I don't know if this will work. I showed this in my tutorial, but it's a little wonky. So I guess we'll try this out. So usually what I like to do is, what I'll do here is I'll set like one for the back. I'll set the thing here. I'll duplicate this, put this back, increase the size by 2. Then I'll take the head of this bone, selection to cursor. So it does that. Now we put our cursor in the middle here, shrink this down so that's still pointing towards this direction. We duplicate this bone, move it to the cursor. Nope. I accidentally moved the cursor back there. To do that, duplicate, selection to cursor. Okay, and then we do that. Then we move the cursor back here. Selection to cursor. So now we have like 3 bones that are connecting to each other right now. These are usually what I call like the pull constraints or the pull control. So this is left arm pull control T. That should be uppercase. Then we should do pull control. Did we just get 2 Sonic Frontiers music songs in a row? Oh, I love this. Okay. Man. What are you working on, Patafoin, by the way, if I may ask? I'm just curious. Are you working on like another 3D animation, or are you doing like another 2D one? Because I really liked that 2D one you made. I think it fits your style really, really well. Okay. So now we have that. We parent this to this middle one. And then this is where it gets a little weird, because I have to add like 4 constraints onto this. I think I copy transforms, so I do this, copy transforms, then I select this again. Alright. Then we copy transforms here, set this to 0.5 so it's back in the middle. Then with this one down here, we do copy rotation and damp track. Doing a 3rd episode of the new 2D series with the Legend to the Claw, Absol. Let's go! Absol. I love Absol. Wholesome. Also, you're doing a 3rd episode? Did I miss an episode? I only remember seeing the one with like the muck in it. Huh. I might have to look at the channel again. Didn't work as good as I expected though, but still. Okay. Yeah, it's wonky depending on the like, for this one I'm thinking it might be wonky just because like you know, the arms aren't like straight down. But I guess we shall see. So now that means I think if we, okay, This isn't moving with this, so I think I messed something up here. Alright, alright. Oh, it's because they're not parented correctly. This needs to be parented to this. That's right. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's not perfect. But it is kind of going around like at what the angle would be for Cyclizar's arm, like diagonally. You missed the first big rat episode? Ah, dang it. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that tonight. Don't let me forget. I'm kind of curious to see. How did I miss that? Man. Okay. Maybe it's because it wasn't something I was used to seeing from you at first. So I was like, oh wait, what's this? And it kind of just like passed me by. But I'm curious to see what the. I'll be curious to see it. Okay, so this one needs to have the same constraints. You do an IK stretch? I don't usually do an IK stretch. Just because I usually I figure if I get to the point where an IK is reaching to a max, that's usually not a position I want the bone to be in. But I guess IK stretching would be a little bit helpful, if there's an inch away. If it's an inch away from the ground and I wanted to cheat things a little, I could. But no, usually I don't turn IK stretch on. It might be a good idea though. Let's see. I think it's this, so we do that. Copy transforms. It's like that. Hide this so we don't accidentally select it. Copy transforms again. 0.5. Take this. Copy rotation. Damp track. Helps with exaggerating sometimes, but most of your work are more grounded and realistic, so I can see why you wouldn't need it as much. Yeah, it's honest. The truth is that I just haven't really considered it too much. It isn't really something I played around with too much, but it could be worth playing around with, because even in realistic animations, sometimes it's good to exaggerate a little. And I've had plenty of times where I've been animating a walk cycle, and I'd be too close to the ground. I would be just off the ground. So in that instance, I think it would be important. The only time I used IK stretch was for that Sylveon Punch Out animation as the as a ribbon leg rig. Ah, that makes sense. Sylveon is speaking of which, Patapoint, you animate Sylveon a lot. Sylveon, I think, is based from what I've seen, is one of the hardest Pokemon to rig. Or not rig, but animate. Because it has 4 different ribbons going on, and it's a quadruped. Holy smokes. If somebody ever makes a Stack Attack animation, let me know, because they will instantly earn my respect. For those of you who don't know, Stack Attacka's rig from Pokemon Sun and Moon, every individual block is a control. Every block is a individual rotation, and its default T-pose is literally just a cube. Yes. Yes, it is. I have not seen anybody attempt to animate it yet. Maybe someday. Why are these... Oh, it's because... Okay, that's why. I didn't rename the poll. That's why. Okay. Okay, now it should be... Now if I parent to this, it should be fine. Still no? Okay. Maybe I need to rename this. Change this to right. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, let's clear the parents this time. Okay, there we go. Much better. Now they're parented as they should be. Again, it's kind of wonky. I might end up disabling this, but I want to just have it there, just in case. Oh, and this should be parented to this. Okay. A little wonky, but it's getting there. All right. You did animate Stack Attacker once, but not really. Oh yeah, it's right. It was the background in that PMD series you used to do. It was the background of the fight versus Glaceon Vulpix in my old series. That was a big 3. That was so cool. I forgot about that. Dude, I loved that series, by the way. That was one of my favorite... That, I think, was, like, my favorite thing. Like, one of my favorite things I think you've ever made. I just love that. Especially, like, your stealth episode. That is definitely up there with one of my favorite things that you've ever made. I just love the overarching story of it. I don't know. That's also where I found your channel for the first time, by the way. Was watching that series. I think it was even before you started doing 3D stuff. Yeah. How does this rig even work? Like the Stack Attacker rig or the Cyclizar rig? The stealth episode is also your favorite. Hey, glad to hear. Stack Attacker? I mean, I could pull it up. I think I have it on me, but I don't know exactly where it is. Maybe I'll do that at a different time. But yeah, it's like each individual block is like its own control, so I think you just kind of have to like do a lot of location-based animations. You're looking at it right now? Oh, okay. That explains it. I'm going to move on to the back legs in the meantime. And then once the back legs are done, we can finally start getting into bone controls, or bone groups. Which I am very much looking forward to. That's one of my favorite parts of doing this whole thing. And I've changed my convention since my tutorial. It seems that every block has an eye texture behind it. Don't tell me it's like one material for each eye texture, right? Like, they don't all blink separately, right? I mean, like, would they have to? Because I feel like that's a huge amount of space. Okay, I'm spacing out again. Hold on. I didn't check the materials, but I'm guessing it has one material. Ah, okay. Thank goodness. This one I feel like having the IK roll bone might be helpful for. There's only one bone here. Oh, that causes a problem. You know, I'm gonna set this up the same way I did for the hands, and then I'll look into the other method a bit later. But there is wait. This one has a shoulder and this one doesn't. Interesting. I could give this one a shoulder. That would fix the problem. Because this one has like an extra toe and this could be used as like a roll. Like, and this one doesn't have that. Let's give this a shot. I'm gonna try setting up an IK rig here. See how this turns out. This could go horribly wrong, or it could be beautiful. We'll see. Yeah, so I make that extra toe bone in the back leg on the front. That's what I meant before. I see, I see. The extra toe bone in the back. Oh, okay. I think I see what you mean. Yeah, that makes, I think I get what you mean. Because it gives you like that extra bit of control. Okay, this needs to be 2. Okay. So then from here, we can do this. Yeah, this I think is going to look a lot better. Assuming that it doesn't tilt off in a weird direction, but that's fine. Let's adjust that roll real quick. What is this set to? 204. Copy rotation. That is a damp track. This roll is going to be very interesting because it's going to be so close to the IK. Like, I think it's going to have to tilt a lot in order to do a lot. This could be a bit bigger. Oh, don't do it. Okay. I suggest using quick favorites with those constraints you use all the time. Probably, yeah. I haven't played around with quick favorites too much. Oh, Q and then they're saved. Just press Q and then they're... That saves a lot of time. Noted. Oh, that's why it wasn't bigger. Okay. Yeah, I haven't set my quick favorites, but that is a good trick. I'll keep that in mind as well. Let's see here. Go over here. Set this in the center. This can be slightly bigger. Route 1 of X and Y, the best route in the entire series. Cyclizar might be my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon. He's definitely up there for me. Like, absolutely up there for me. It also helps that German and Cube have also been really into Cyclizar lately, and that's made him, like, that's made him rise in my favorites a bit more. It's either him or Koraidon is my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon. You were underwhelmed with Gen 9? I think that's understandable. I think Gen 9 has, like, you know, its problems, but I really like what they did with the, like, narratively, with Scarlet and Violet. That was probably my favorite Pokemon story since Black and White. I also had, like, a really unique playthrough, so I think that also helped my impression. Where I had, like, people chase me around when I was trying to do the gym badges. That was fun. It's something. I don't think this needs to be parented to the toe control though. Or maybe it does? Oh, because this needs to be in origin. Okay, that's right. Or is it already parented to the origin? Nope, okay. It's trying. Yeah, there's like a weird delay on this one. So I think there's like something I've overlooked here. Oh. That probably explains part of it. Okay, that's much better. Again, like the range isn't a lot, but something at least. I don't really know how handy that's gonna be. Maybe if I like use it here. All right. Let's see. Nope. Oh, yeah. What would you say your favorite Pokemon game is then, Smiley? Symmetry? Yeah, it should be symmetrical. Like, I have symmetry on right now. It's just the... Oh, have I not renamed the bones yet? Oh, that probably plays a part in it. This should be the foot IK. The foot roll. This is the toe control, or IK control. And these should also probably be abbreviated with IK actually. So that's IK. This is IK roll. I might call those other bones IK roll too as well. Oh yeah, these don't have a roll anymore. Never mind. Maybe Ultra Moon and Sun since I played them first. Yeah, probably those. I get the vibe. I was recently going through like my backlog page. Where was I gonna go with this? I was going through my backlog page and I decided to like rank various video games or like give my top 25 like on various video games based on different criteria like single player, multiplayer, narrative, stuff like that. And I put Ultra Moon as my Pokemon pick for like single player because I think like Pokemon Ultra Moon has like a lot of like creative potential to it in terms of like team building opportunities, and it has some of like the biggest the most interesting challenges from like a gameplay standpoint. So I think like in terms of like pure gameplay and like battle systems and stuff, Ultra Moon might be up there like in terms of like games that I like from the Pokemon series. Narratively it's good too. I'm not sure I'd put it in like the same realm as like Pokemon Black or White and Scarlet and Violet. That is foot IK control. Your buddy says Pokemon Black and White are peak Pokemon. I agree. I think it is peak Pokemon. It's not a perfect game. It has its problems too, but like narratively, like I don't think like how much do you know about Pokemon Black and White story? Because I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it. But like I think just the premise of Pokemon Black and White story and what they decided to do for it is like so astronomically crazy that like I can't help but respect it. Like even if the story like fell flat, like holy smokes. Like it didn't fall flat, but like even if the story did fall flat, like them trying to do what they did with Black and White is crazy. I know the ideas behind I know the ideals, Truth Brothers, the lore and all that, but I don't know much with the gameplay part. Gameplay part is like fairly similar to what you might expect from like most Pokemon games. But like narratively it's I think it's the best in the series by far. I also really like a lot of the like new mechanics. I like triple battles. Black and White is what introduced triple battles, which I really like. So meep. That's parented, right? So do that. Oh yeah, copy rotations. That's so weird. Why is it? Am I missing something here? Because it should be symmetrical. So I don't know why the copy rotation is turning it around like that. Unless it's like a bone roll thing. You can just select the done right You can just select the done right part and select and search for symmetrize, and it'll copy everything if the names are correct. No need to do everything twice. Gonna sound dumb if you already know that. No, like you did just remind me of the like there is like a copy constraints to selected bone. That I remember. I don't remember the symmetrize part though. So let's give that a shot. Let's see. Symmetrize. It's in edit mode? Okay. Did it do all the thing? I want to take a closer look at this before I go full, like, all the way through with it, because if this, like, I just want to make sure that it doesn't change anything that I don't want changed. But if this works, this is huge. Summarize the tweak bones too. Let's go. This is rotated from that direction. This is rotated from this direction. This might be actually crazy. Ah, that's crazy. Wow. Okay, that's actually amazing. That, like, actually saves my life. Holy smokes, thank you for teaching me that. Wow. I can't believe I didn't know that. Okay, that's crazy. That is, like, the best thing I've discovered in a while. Holy smokes. Okay. Wait. That will be my first quick favorite. Let's put that in. Or where's that? I'll do that a bit later. But yes, that is actually crazy. Thank you for teaching me that. So anyway, that saves a million hours. So okay. Now that we have the IKs in place, it feels so weird showing you stuff since you don't know, since it's usually the other way around. That's kind of the beauty of Blender though, is that like nobody knows everything. And like, you know, every time you have an interaction with like another Blender person, like you always learn new stuff. And just because like someone's been using Blender for a long time doesn't necessarily mean that they know more. Because like there's things that I discover that like that have been around for a while that I'm like, wait, you can do that? Yeah, like it even took me a while, like a few years to discover what IK constraints were, so yeah, absolutely. Hopefully I still have things to teach you as well though. But I appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much. That actually is crazy. And now I'm gonna remember it because it was on a live stream. Okay. Does this have pull targets though? Oh, we do still have to. Oh, that's right. Before we symmetrized, we probably should have added the. Probably do know a lot. I don't know. Rigging Monkey. Hello, Hollow SL. Welcome to the stream. This is indeed a Rigging Monkey 2 stream. I did just remember I have to add the. I have to add the pull cons as well. I'd say like I think the area that I kind of like, I don't see a lot of people like composite things in the cabin, so that's probably where most of my like knowledge comes from. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, let's add those constraints, and then we'll use that amazing symmetrize code again, because that is the best thing I have ever seen. The pulls, yeah, that's right. Probably want this to be like right there, right? Okay. So let's do this. Selection to, oh wait, I just want to select the tip. Selection to cursor, do that, go that, back way through. Duplicate this, selection to cursor. Move this back. Nope, don't do that. Selection to cursor. Nope. Cursor to selected. There we go. Cursor to selected. Duplicate selection to cursor. Another tip. I'm ready. Then we extrude a pull from here. You want to close the X symmetry when adding bones, because if you add them both, you want to close the X symmetry when adding bones, because if you add them both, you'll have the name to name both. But if you add one name just that, you can just symmetrize it. Okay, that is a good thing to keep in mind. Now that I know that symmetry exists, I will definitely keep that in mind. I will double check my leg bones just because I know I have been doing that previously with like my previous setup. But yes. For now, I'll just, since I already created them, I'll just rename the bones, but then I will keep that in mind for the future. Let's see. Let's make this right foot Pokémon T. Right arm, Pokémon T. Or left leg. Yeah, it'd be leg now. Let's do that. And I do think we still need to add the... It'll be added on the other side. Indeed. Pokémon T. So that'd be right. Oh, that's right. It was still said left. Boop, boop, boop. And then Pokémon B. Oh, that still says right. Left is not right. Okay. That's the pull. That was a fanfare. I should probably be calling these IK pulls too, honestly, just so that I know whether or not the bone is FK or IK whenever I do add a an FK IK constraint. Okay, so let's try this again. Oh wait, no, I need to add the constraints first. That's right. Okay. So do that. Copy transforms. Do that. Hide this. Copy transforms again. Where's the constraints? Okay. Let's see. Copy rotation, damp track. Parent this to this. Okay. Alright. This needs to be parented to this. I always forget that. How's this look? Still not perfect, but it's still rotating around the knee generally, so like I can always turn it off if I need to, so it's good to have it there. Okay, let's try this now. Symmetrize. Or symmetry. Indeed. I'm trying to remember specifically what I selected. Was it just add symmetrical object origin or add... Hold on. I don't think it was that. Oh, it's in edit mode. That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, there we go. Okay. That is so handy, man. You have no idea. Okay. That needs to be moving with this, though. If Solo's still here, he gets to hear the codename Steam music. Oh, or is that just not renamed? Oh, that's one of those double bones. That's right. Or maybe that's just something that came over with the symmetry. There's no two bones over here, right? Double check it. This is what I get for renaming the bones. Oh, that's because that's why that's lowercase. That shouldn't be lowercase. And this should be uppercase. So let's delete this capital B and make that a capital B, because I believe that is the one that was symmetrized. Yes. Okay. Well, I just noticed I was 6 minutes behind. Whoa, that's crazy. That's weird how that works out though sometimes. You just notice you're 6 minutes behind. I've had that happen. Anyway, welcome back to the present. How's it going? We are nice to have you back here in the present. Hello, Lewis. Welcome back. We're learning a lot of really cool tricks today. And we've just symmetrized our rig here, so now we have like a functional IK set up here that works. Maybe it could still improve it a little bit, but it gets the job done for the time being. So now, $1 million question. If I wanna, hold on, let me see what this happens if I do this. Probably won't work out, but yeah, let's not do that. I'm debating whether or not I wanna set up bone groups or custom bone shapes. And then like, yeah, bone groups, but custom bone shapes, and then like bone layers would usually be next. See, it's interesting because like Cyclizar has like different models that are functional at like different times, so the layering for this is going to be really interesting. I do think I want to keep this pose for the time being, as weird as it is, because like this seems to be working. Like, we're not getting too much weirdness, and like the geometry isn't deforming in any weird way, so do I want to go into bone layers or bone? I mean, I could also set up an FK constraint. We could do an FK-IK constraint thing. You know, that actually, I don't think that would take too long. Maybe that would be a good idea. Is Blender? This is Blender indeed. Okay. FK-IK constraint. So basically, we want all of these bones, like all these constraints we just made, we want those to be off for our FK constraint, and we want to toggle all of those with a driver. So the $1 million question then becomes, where do we place this driver? And if I want to do this before or after I set up bone controls. I should probably do it before, just so I don't have to toggle or like toggle visibility on certain bones, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Let's take this pull target, since it's about like the shape I want it to be. We'll call this left arm FK IK switch. And I think I would want this to be parented to the... What would I want this to be parented to? I actually think I want this parented to the origin. Okay. Because that way it just kind of stays with the body and we don't need to worry too much about where it is. So let's say move this here. Alright. So now we're gonna take all these objects with the constraint. So like, let's take the left arm, for example. Also, I remember I forgot to turn x-axis mirror off. So let's try that new trick. Let's do that. And let's see. I want to copy the X motion. I'll have the X motion as the driver. So let's have it move. Let's have the toggle be like when it reaches 0.1%. So let's take the X location. Copy as new driver. And then we will parent this to the IK constraint, the influence. So let's paste the driver. Now let's edit the driver. Yeah, to leave abruptly. Sorry about that. I'm back. No worries. No worries. If you ever have to go or do other things, like that's always fine. I'll just be here doing the Blender stuff. I'm attempting to add an FK-IK constraint to the rig. So I'm just doing that with like a basic driver. I know you mentioned that thing earlier that like 5.0 added, but I don't know if it's on 4.5. So I'll probably just set it up like this for the time being. So let's do this times 10. So that means like this should now toggle. Oh, and I want it to effect transform too. I forget if that's a... Oh no, that's when I add like the limit rotation constraint. So now, if I move this like, it should be like at 5.5. Yep, okay. Good. So let's copy the same driver. I feel like 5.0 is slower, but it's better. It's better, but slow. It's interesting. Like, when you say it's slower, do you mean like it renders slower or like moves slower? That's interesting. What's your favorite thing about 5.0 so far, by the way, if I may ask? I'm really curious to know. Let's paste this driver. Paste it there. Will it really be necessary right there? I think if we do this, like, this should just function. Like that IK is still on. Oh, yeah. It's off by default, that's right. So now, this should not work. This should be like back to normal. Yep. Okay. The new compositing stuff is really cool. Oh boy. I felt it the most when the opening times and new material loading times. Rendering is faster than ever though. Let's go. New compositing stuff. I remember, like, I watched that brief video that, like, I think it was Core if you put it in the Discord server. It was like a 7-minute explanation of all the changes 5.0 made. I'm trying to remember, like, what specific change they made in compositing. I remember looking at it and being like, oh my goodness, that's big. But I don't remember exactly what it was. Let's see here. Toggle. So now this should toggle between FK and IK. So that works. So now I want to limit this location. So let's give this a limit location or limit transforms if that's an option. Limit location, limit rotation. Or is that just like a thing in the bone functions I can... No, actually what I want to do is I want to lock all of these. So now this should only move on the x-axis. Okay. Lock all of that. Limit location, so add this. Minimum x, minimum y. We want this to use local space. Okay. And then we want this to be, the maximum is 0.1. So there we go. Now we have a switch. and this lets us like toggle incrementally from 0.8, from 0 to 0.1. So now let's symmetrize. Time to wait. Also, time to play Wii Sports. What just came to my mind when I first entered the server, I was a little child. I was like 11 years old, I think. Oh boy. Now I'm about to go to college. Time flies. Hey, nice. I'm glad you were... Like, it's crazy you've been around for that long, though. That's like 7 years. Holy smokes. I don't even think the server's been around for like 7 years. I think it was made in like 2020. That's crazy. Wild stuff. I'm glad you've stuck around, though. It means a lot. And I hope that I've been helpful and that you've made some new friends. Okay, let's try and symmetrize this. Okay. Does this just work? Oh my gosh, it works! Oh my goodness! Hold on. Wait, no. No, it's not perfect because we still have to apply the driver. Might have been 12, now I'm 17. Ah, I see. Noted. Yeah, if you were 12 and 17, it would have been like 5 years. Okay, so it symmetrizes perfectly in this direction, which is crazy. Also, I want this to effect transform. But I still need to attach the driver, so I still need to put a driver on this. Because this driver is not going to work. You need to symmetrize the bone that has the driver. Both of them. Oh, that's right. Like, so the arms would need to be symmetrized too. Okay, got it. In that case, I think it might just be quicker to take this here. But I will keep that in mind for next time. Well, it might not necessarily be quicker, but it might just go faster, based on what I understand. That's a sentence. I don't think it'll be quicker, but I think it'll go faster. I can words. Actually, no. No. This is a learning opportunity. This is a this is a learning opportunity. I'm going to symmetrize my bones again. And if it somehow knows to like make, because I think this has to be negative. Like, it'll have to know to make the driver negative. If it somehow knows that, I am going to fall over. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's try this. Symmetrize. Okay, so now this should be... So this should have a driver on it. Okay, oh, it doesn't have a driver on it. Huh. Man. Dang it. Okay. Meetup's canceled, so you're back. Hello, Mirage. That would still be really cool though. And this still like keeps things even, so yeah. In that case, I'll probably just do this. That's a shame. If it had done that, that would have been phenomenal. Because the iRig later on, like, gets a little annoying. So, like, having symmetrize on that would be crazy. Let's see. In that case, like, it isn't that big of a deal. Like, it's simple enough. This is -1, yeah. So, so we're just gonna, copy driver, copy his new driver, paste it here. Paste driver. Edit driver. Summarize expression. We want to do minus location times 10. So then we're gonna copy this driver, post it here. And now this should toggle the IK, so this shouldn't work anymore. Okay, good. And when I do this, now it should work. Okay, perfect. Alright. That's the front FK IK switch. What time is it? 6:10? Okay. I've been streaming for 3.5 hours. Wait. I've been... Oh, 2.5 hours. Okay. Let's see. Let's take the... Wait, did I not... Oh, it's up here? Oh, I forgot to do that. Wait, what's going on with the... Did I like what's going on with the thing here? Why is it up there? Hold on. Huh. That's peculiar. Copy rotation. Oh, I think it's okay. I'll just re-add the constraints. Let's go copy transforms. Move that here. Boop boop. Do that. Go down here. Oh, it's because okay, that's why. It's because that bone got deleted. That's why. Okay. That explains a lot. I deleted left pull T. I used to just slap one IK bone, one pull bone and call it a day, but in my early years of using Blender, since I didn't know any better, but now there's all this fancy stuff, rigging takes up a lot of time. There's still, I think there's still merit in actually doing what you're doing what you used to do. Just because, like, again, it takes up so much time. I think it depends on, like, what you're rigging and how often you see yourself using it. So, like, if it's, like, a main character that you're going to be using for, like, a really long time, I think, like, you know, taking the extra time for, like, you know, to do this type of stuff helps a lot. But, yeah, for, like, background characters, like, that's a lot of time. You don't need to spend, like, 5 hours, like, rigging something that's only going to be in the background for, like, 2 seconds. But, like, even then, like, it could be good just for, like, practice or, like... What's the word? Like, or just, like, if you use that character in the future. I'd love someday... This is kind of off topic, but, like... Like, I sometimes think about, like, how much more accessible, like, the 3D Pokemon community would be if there was just, like, an entire catalog or an entire Blender asset library where, like, people just had access to, like, this level of rig with, like, all these IKs and controls and stuff for, like, every Pokemon. And, like, if people just wanted to animate a Pokemon or something, they could just have it there and, like, jump right into it. Like, I don't think that's feasible, especially for, like, one person, but it would be really cool. And I think there is knowledge in, like, teaching people how to do it, just in case, like, you know, they ever do need to do it themselves, so... Okay. Will this fix the IK constraints? Left pull on B. Left leg pull con B. Yeah, I think this might get us places. Just need to add these back in. And I think this also needs to have its copy constraint back on. And this needs to be put above here. Oh, that's copy rotation. This needs to be up here. Okay. Actually knowing how the rigging works might help in and knowing rigging is a huge deal, but if it was that accessible, yeah, it would be neat. Yeah, I think there's I like helping people out, but like I try to limit myself in how much I actually like do, because I think again, like what we're saying, like having the knowledge of how to do that stuff, it's going to be very important, because like even if they like ever get into the industry, for example, or they or I'm not around or don't have the time, then it lets them like do things to their heart's content. I don't know. That's the idea behind it, I think, at least. Teach a man to fish, you know? I'm gonna check my stream thing real quick. I haven't had to leave Blender as much as I thought I would, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, everything is still going. We haven't dropped a single frame. How is that possible? Okay. Let's see here. This should be still... Is this parented here? Okay. Oh, this needs to be... Yeah, that's right. I always forget that. Okay. Okay. Now we want to set an FK ice skate switch for this back leg. Set this down here. This should still have like the same limits to it, which is good. So I think it's just a matter of except this time we also have to function in the roll bone. And eventually I'm probably gonna want to like toggle the visibility with these IK switches as well. But we can worry about that a bit later. Let's see. Spacing out. Copy driver. Copy as new driver. Go here. Paste driver. Edit driver. Scripted. Times 10. Copy this. Paste that here. Okay. So now this should be off. Yep, okay. Let us symmetrize this bone. And then we do the same thing. We copy the driver. So copy as new driver. Paste. Edit. I set this to negative location times 10. There we go. We'll copy this. Does it bother anyone else that there's more than one legendary Pokemon? For example, 2 Articunos, but maybe that's just an anime thing. I think it depends on like the Pokemon in universe, but like I think it depends on the species actually. Like I could like the Gen 1. It's weird. Okay. It's kind of weird that you say the anime because like the second Pokemon movie kind of like suggests or implies that there's like only one Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of like there only being one legendary Pokemon just because I think that makes them more special. Like in universe, I think having only one legendary Pokemon for most species, I think it makes sense. Like I think the idea of like there being like multiple Dialgas or Palkias like seems a little weird to me. But like I could believe like Shaman, for example. Like the Shaman shows like the anime shows that there's like multiple Shamans. So like I can believe that some legendaries or mythicals could be like a species. Like Manaphy or Fion I could see as being like a multiple species thing. Deoxys I think was shown as well. So I think it depends kind of on the legendary. And like what their lore implies. Did I already paste that? Nope, I did not. Okay. Paste driver. Okay. That's going places. It's going places. Dialga and Palkia are probably strong enough to exist more than one at the same time. Are probably strong enough to exist more than one at the same time, or aren't strong enough. Dialga could just be in 2 places at the same time, and oh, you see what I mean. Like they're powerful enough that they could make like copies of themselves based on like what they can do. Okay, I see.
Alright. Both legs and... Actually, I don't know if the feet needed an FK-IK control. Now I think about it. Probably if, like, maybe if, like, Cyclizar gets, like, thrown in the air, or, like, someone ever wants to construct a scene where, like, Cyclizar is skydiving, then the foot IKs could come in handy, but other than that, we'll see. Let's see here. So, next in line, is it finally time for bone layers, is the question. What might I be missing? There's also that eye, but I don't know if we're gonna get around to that. That might take some tinkering. Meep meep. In the back of my mind, I kind of feel bad. I was saying, I just realized I've been working on Cyclizar, and I feel kind of bad because Cube is, like, asleep right now. And he probably would like to see Cyclizar get rigged. But yeah, it is here. Bone layers maybe is next. Or bone collections. That's probably what they're called now. Okay. I'm gonna add a few of these. What do I usually call these? I think I call these, like, core. Unfortunate E. Core. Oh, I don't want to say center. Left. Right. Alright, you're off to work. Best of luck with the rig. Thanks, Corv. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Thanks for sticking around, too. Okay. Primary. Secondary. You know what, actually, I think with that in mind, I might hold off on doing the rest of this rig tonight, just so I can give Cube the opportunity to see me rig a little bit more of it. Because there's still quite a bit left we need to do. We need to add the bone layers, we need to add the bone collections, and we need to add the like the face rig and all that stuff. And I think that's all stuff we could potentially do another day. Because again, I do want to give Cube a little bit of an opportunity to watch the Cyclizar get rigged. With the eyes, most of the time they when they bug out, I just copy an iris from X, Y, Sun, Moon, something like that, similar eyes, and slap it on there. The Roaring Moon eyes in my last render had a and Riolu's, for example. You take a copy of the iris from X and Y and Sun and Moon, something like that, and slap it on there. I think, okay, I guess I could briefly explain what I think the issue is. Because I could show you, like, I could kind of explain what's going on. Let me pull up the shader editor. Like, again, I don't know, like, where I would need to look to fix this. But, like, I have a general idea of, like, what might be happening. Arrange selected. So, like, it's kind of like when you look at the this node and you see all of this. I could probably pull this up a little. That arrange thing is cool. Yeah, I think that's an add-on. I can't remember if it's like, I think it's pre-built into Blender, but I'll double check. But yeah, it's I actually think I have two different versions of it. There's Node Wrangler, which also has like an aligns node feature, and this does come with Blender. Node Wrangler comes with Blender. It also has it introduces shortcuts in the compositor for like specific node setups. But for this, I've been finding myself using arrange. So I guess we'll just arrange this too. I just used Node Wrangler, but I didn't see the other one. I can't remember if the other one was pre-built into Blender or not. If it isn't, I'll try and figure that out. So basically, from what I understand, this is a little compositing thing, I guess. Once Blender decides to load, that would be great. Okay. So basically, you see these textures here. You have like the albedo, which is like the color information. And then you have the eye mask, which is like the iris, and then you have the limb texture. Now, if I remember correctly, which one is this? Eye limb PNG 001. I actually don't remember what Cyclozar's like colors actually look like. Let me look this up. Just so I have a point of reference. Okay, so it's pretty simple. It's just a black dot with like a white iris in the middle. That's fairly simple. But usually like some of these like limb textures will have like a red, green, and blue like highlight system to them, where like some parts will be red, some parts will be green, and some parts will be blue. And that color information can be used to denote what specific parts of it lets you customize the colors of specific parts of the eye, and basically say like, okay, the parts that's green in this base texture should be this color here, should be this color here, and so on and so forth. And that's kind of what these base color layers are for. So my suspicion is that there is some kind of connection going on in this huge mess of nodes here, somewhere around these like layer mask areas, where like it's not receiving like the color information that it needs to denote like what needs to be what color. So like for example here you see a separate RGB node. That's usually where it would separate the RG and B into like specific colors. Again, I don't know exactly if it's like that's not the right textures imported, or if it's like something is wonky with like the node setup that's causing it to be white. I honestly I can't really say for sure what it might be. But if we can like find where the problem is in this node setup, it should be able to solve the problem. I'm just not sure if I'll do that today. Is there anything else I'd probably want to show today? For like streaming wise. I mean, it's a lot of progress already. Man, I feel like there's like so much I want to show off, but like, I don't know if now's the time. I think I'm going to close things off for tonight. Just because it is getting a bit later and I should probably get some dinner. But thank you, Smiley, for sticking around for as long as you have. Thank you for showing me those new tricks, especially Symmetrize. Or Symmetry, because like, holy smokes. But yeah, maybe I'll pick this up like in a week or two. I'll continue on. I'll probably stream earlier just so Cube can watch a little bit too. And yeah, I guess we'll keep going from there. Or I could rig another Pokemon too. We'll see. But yeah, I think I'm gonna head out tonight. I'm gonna go to bed right now. It's about 2:30 a.m. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you should go to bed. Yeah, it's bedtime. Bedtime. All right. Thanks for sticking around. Hope you have a great day. Cake the Seconds, thanks for sticking around as well. I wish you all a great rest of your day.